Right now.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for having us here. My name is Michelle Marriott, and I'm with Heritage Preparatory School. We are currently we're a pre-K through 8th grade school located in the Morningside area. However, we are adding a high school next year, starting with grade 9. So we will now go all the way through pre-K through 12th grade. So we're real excited about that. We are a classical Christian school, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But I would love to start us with a video. So I would love to share my screen, and let's make sure this works. Oh, you know what? I don't think it's going to let me. It's not going to let me do the sound. It looks like if I do that, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do the sound for it. We're going to give it a try. And hopefully the sound will go through. We'll see.
We believe that children should learn to love learning and to enjoy school each day.
The heart of our enthusiasm for the school is that we want what is best and what is complete for our kids.
That is Heritage. It's a celebration of the good and the finding of God in all things.
Theology can be defined as faith-seeking understanding, not only in the classroom, but beyond the school grounds. We were really enticed by the curriculum and the kind of spiritual focus of Heritage.
We were shocked at how much Heritage helped encourage and promote our family's spiritual excellence.
Not only are you getting an amazing academic school, but you know that your child is being taught in the highest regard.
We began with habit training about first-time obedience and attention and focusing their mind.
What you need to learn is the disciplines and the habits and the routines. Heritage understands that it's about those things just as much as the content and the curriculum.
Gosh, the community is it's really something special. I think we've made friends that we will keep forever and ever, and we've only been here a year.
One of the things that's really striking about this community is the parental engagement.
You really get to know everybody on a more intimate level, and you see people every day that you know, and it's just, you know, you can rely on each other.
The ability to raise our children alongside people who are rowing in the same direction and who just love one another. They pray for one another, they support one another.
Everything that we're trying to instill at home is being instilled almost tenfold here.
And what we have found is that it is enabling better parents.
There has been an intentional effort to infuse faith into how students would think about the world around them.
I'll never forget sitting down with Miss White and praying with her as tears rolled down her eyes for my daughter.
There's great consistency in what our families are teaching at home and what we're teaching here at school. The classical education really focuses on who that person will become.
It allows them to think critically, and it allows them to shape culture instead of be shaped by culture.
Faith is about seeking understanding, and we can't seek understanding if we don't ask questions.
The principles of a classical education, the emphasis on the good and the excellent and the lovely, and that was just something that really stood out to us.
What we've seen just in kindergarten alone has been phenomenal.
I was pleasantly surprised and very excited about the years ahead based upon what we had experienced.
We want what is best and what is complete for our kids.
For Amelia, I think the Heritage Way is becoming just our Freeman family way of life too. It's helping us think differently about the world and how we engage with it.
Heritage, I feel like, has the whole long-term goal in mind as far as who are you going to be as a person.
We are more concerned with who they become than what they will do.
Okay, could y'all see it and hear it okay? So the sound came through. I'm so glad. I wasn't sure about that part. So let's pull this up. Can you see the PowerPoint? Okay, great. Thank you. I will put it in. Let's see. We'll start from here. Okay, so once again, we are Heritage Preparatory School, and my name is Michelle Marriott. I've been following Heritage almost since the beginning of the school was founded in 1998. I've been following it since about early 2000. And I have been employed by the school since the summer. So I'm new to Heritage, not new to my role as admissions. I've been in the independent school world for well over 40 years, actually, so a long time. The purpose of an education at Heritage is really to provide an academically rigorous educational experience designed to help students know, love, and practice that which is true, good, and excellent, and to live purposefully, intelligently in the service of God and man. So that's really our purpose, and where we're heading is to be really that school in Atlanta known for graduates who positively shape culture, both through their faith and through intellect as well. And our mission is to think with excellence, believe with confidence, and live with character. And this is what all of our students are striving for. This is what our teachers are striving for as well, is really looking down the road and at the big picture at who are they going to become. They are going to go to great colleges. We have no doubt about that. They will get great jobs. But what's that person that they are going to become when they are in college, when they are out of college, when they are 30, 40, and 50 years old? So that's really the goal. I'd like to start. We are pre-K through 8th grade currently, but adding a high school next August, and just kind of talking through the different distinctives. And please feel free to stop me at any time and ask questions. I'm happy to answer or clarify anything. We're actually in the Morningside area, and we are the only dual covenant classical Christian school inside the perimeter of Atlanta. And we have a Charlotte Mason influence in our classical curriculum. So the Charlotte Mason was a 19th century educator, and her beliefs were that students really needed that academic rigorous program, but they also needed that spiritual foundation and really the formation of virtues. And so what we've incorporated from her here at Heritage would be the habit training, so helping students develop good habits. So, looking adults in the eye, even when they're only 4 years old, they greet us each and every day. We greet them in carpool with "Good morning, how are you?" And they answer back, "Good morning, I am great, how are you?" And, being able to carry on a conversation with an adult and maintain that wonderful eye contact. We have the habits of attention, the habits of thoroughness, the habits of respect and manners, and various other ones that we are training our children in. She also influenced our lower school curriculum with the nature studies. So all of our pre-K through 3rd grade classes engage in going outside each and every day and just studying the world around them, just studying all the beauty that God created. And really, when they notice those details, it helps them, as they go through school, to be observant, to notice details, and to ask questions. We want them to be curious learners. And the other influence that we have from Charlotte Mason would be narration. So we read to the students daily and they retell stories. So they're hearing these wonderful, rich classical books, and then they're able to retell the stories even at a very young age. So it's helping not only with their language acquisition, but also is strengthening their vocabulary. And it is just allowing them to really comprehend the story and understand it. And using the classical books with that good rich literature too, those types of stories all are teaching virtues, and they are teaching just things like good versus evil and things like that. So that's just one of the main influences of a Charlotte Mason influence curriculum. Being a classical school, I'll speak a little bit about what is a classical school. That's a common question that I get here. And basically, the classical pedagogy really teaches to the grain in which a child learns. So in their lower school years, they learn by through grammar, through the grammar stage. And in the grammar stage, that is when they are learning facts and information. So you think about how much a child loves to learn math facts, they love to learn jingles, anything like that. They are just sponges, just absorbing information. So that is how we teach to them during the grammar stage. They're learning math facts, they're learning phonograms, they're learning spelling patterns, things like that. And in science, it could be all the different specimens of butterflies. And then as they move through school, once they get into middle school, does anyone in here have anyone old enough to be in middle school yet? Maybe not. Okay. Well, in middle school, they start to question things and they are asking why. And so at that stage, we come alongside them and help them with grappling with those questions. And the stage in the classical education that is called the logic stage. And so in the logic stage, they are coming through, they're learning how to think through different problem scenarios and then support an argument with facts. And so that is what we are teaching them at that stage. And then the last stage, the stage that we never got to finish at Heritage, is the rhetoric stage. And so at that stage, you are teaching them to speak and write persuasively in a winsome type manner. So that is the capstone to the classical model. So I will keep moving and just talking through a little bit more of the distinctives. As you saw in the video, that was all filmed pre-COVID, so there were no masks. So just to show you, this would be a pre-K classroom. We have the plexiglass up for each one of the children to act as a shield to protect them during these unusual times that we are all in right now. And so all of our lower school teachers are trained in Orton-Gillingham, which is a methodology for teaching students not only how to spell, but how to read and comprehend the world. So all our teachers, Orton-Gillingham trained in our lower school. We have, and hopefully you got a sense of this from the video, a very strong community here at Heritage, and the parents are very involved. This is actually our first day of school where we gather on campus and we have a prayer time. We pray for the school year. We pray for all the students and families, faculty, and then we release balloons into the air. Okay, so once again, another first day of school picture, all of our masks on. We have a very strong mentoring program. So between our middle school students and our pre-K and kindergarten students, so you can kind of see this is where they are meeting their, we call them Barnabas buddies. And so they meet at carpool and welcome the child. They've already had a phone conversation. And then throughout the school year, they do different activities together. Once again, this year it does look a little bit different since we are not mixing cohorts of students. So this year it's more dropping off notes and encouragement and praying for their mentor, buddy. Okay, and this would just show you Christmas candlelight service. This is from last year. And once again, we try to keep the student body together. We feel like that's really important for the older students to be those mentors and for the younger students to really have someone to look up to and look up to the older students as leaders. So looking ahead to middle school, so this again is that logic stage, and we start off the year with Middle School Connect, which really is when the students find out we have a house program, so they find out what house they are going to be in, and every Friday afternoon, each house participates in various activities. So it's community service, it is team building, it's some silly games. They are earning house points, and at the end of the year you have a house winner. This is when we have athletic programs really ramp up. So we currently offer, we have cross country and volleyball, basketball, golf, and tennis. And so we have a relationship with Ansley Golf Club, so we can go over there and use the facilities. And as you can see, this is the boys basketball team. They have been the 4-time division champs of the MAC conference, the Metro Atlanta Athletic Conference. Very proud of them. We've had the same thing. We've had numerous awards in athletics as division champs of that conference, not only in basketball, but also in volleyball and cross country as well. Okay, and I would love just to I know you're looking at a very young age child coming from Suzuki, but just a look ahead, just a little peek at high school and what that will look like. We just purchased the land across the street from us. And so that will be the home to our new high school. And this shows it will be a student center for the students, and there will be a coffee bar and just a place for them to congregate, to gather, to have discussion and conversation with each other. And this will be part of the sanctuary. This is the back side of the sanctuary. So this will be the library part. And really the goal here is that capstone of blending faith and intellect together. So that kind of gives you a visual of what it will look like. It's really interesting. The property we just purchased has not been for sale for 150 years. It is a church directly across the street, and it is very Gothic looking on the inside, just this beautiful molding and woodworking, as you can kind of see there. So this is a rendering, but this is what it looks like. And then just love to wrap it up with a thank you, and love to answer any questions that anyone might have. And my contact information is on the screen too.
Well, first, I just want to say thank you for joining us on this very unique form of private school. And I do want to invite any parents to go ahead and take themselves off of mute. But before they start, I wanted to ask, what is exactly your process for enrollment from the application to getting in?
Yes, great question. So for this age, it would be filling out the application, which actually went live today. I think all the private schools went live today. So the applications have launched, and filling out the application, and really depending if the students coming in to say kindergarten, first grade, it would be taking the JATP, which most of the independent schools require, and teacher recommendation from Suzuki. And then we do ask for a pastor recommendation as well. And we interview all parents, and we'll have an on-site assessment for the student. So that the on-site assessment, that is planned right now, recognizing that, you know, we will be flexible like everyone else is, and we'll just wait and see what happens with COVID. But right now, that is the plan.
I have a question from a parent, or actually no, from a director. Do you have foreign language in your classroom?
Great question. We do. So I'll speak through that a little bit. So in the classical model, the foreign language offered is Latin, and we start in 3rd grade with Latin and go through 8th grade now. Now that we're starting a high school, there will be students coming in that may not have a Latin background, and some may. So that will vary. So what we'll be doing for the high school level is there'll be a split track. So those that have had Latin 2 will be able to continue on with their Latin studies, and they would just fall right in with our current heritage students. Those that do not have a Latin background, they can take Latin 1. So we'll offer that track for them, or they may not want to take Latin. And if that's the case, then we'll have a foreign language lab. And so we'll have various foreign languages offered that way. Great question. Thank you. I meant to touch on that during the PowerPoint, since Latin is such a big piece of the classical education.
Hi, Michelle. Thank you again for this presentation. It was really nice and got a lot of information from it, especially since Heritage Prep hasn't been at our fair before. So we really appreciate you doing it this year.
Thank you.
I do have a few questions. First, what are the school hours? And do you have any after-school programs?
Right. So our school hours for a pre-KK student would be 7:30. They can drop off as early as 7:30. School starts at 8. And then for them, school ends at noon each day. And then for our older students, 1st through 8th grade, school starts at 8 as well, drop off as early as 7:30. And then school ends at 2:30. So that way it gives them plenty of time in the afternoon for extracurriculars, that type of thing that they can do here on campus. We do have an after-school program or after-school activities offered for those students that get out at noon. And so they can stay until 2:30, but then from 2:30 on, basically it would only be students that are enrolled in an athletic program, something along those lines. Once we open up our high school next year, high school hours will stay 15 extra minutes a day. So they will go until 2:45. They will still get dropped off at 8, but they will have a little bit of free time first thing in the morning. And that's where they'll gather in the student center, and they will be able to, have a cup of coffee, cup of hot tea, really connect for the day. There could be a Bible study that's going on. It could be connect with each other or connect with their teachers, things like that. And then they'll go till 2:45. In our middle school and in our high school next year, we have it's basically like a enrichment for Friday afternoons. And so those afternoons are spent in house activities that we spoke a little bit about earlier, or it could be performance rehearsals, any types of special projects, things like that.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Also,
welcome.
too, how many kindergarten rooms do you have? And what's the ratio?
Yes, so 12-1 is the ratio. So we don't go over 12 in we call it enrichment, that's pre-K kindergarten. So in our pre-K kindergarten and all through our lower school, the max class size is 12. And that's intentional and part of that classical model too. And then middle school and our new high school, maximum class size will be 15. Now we do have 2 sections of every class, so that would be 12 in a class, and then we have 2 sections of every class, except for our current kindergarten class this year. We have one section of kindergarten that will be moving up. So we will have another section open up for first grade next year. So that will act as an entry point for new students coming in, which hopefully will help, you know, get some Suzuki children over here.
What is your stance or approach with DEI?
With what now?
With DEI, which is diversity, equity, and
Right,
inclusion.
right. So we are very much a Christ-centered community. So we are a community that comes from various different churches across the entire city of Atlanta. So we don't follow one denomination. And basically we are a welcoming school, and you know, we just really just follow the Lord and follow Christ's leading.
So I saw in the video that you guys had, you know, installed plexiglass and everyone's wearing masks. What are other things that you've done in regards to COVID-19 to keep your school safe?
Probably many of the things that y'all have done as well. We don't have visitors on campus, so parents drop off in the carpool line, and we are doing temperature checks each morning. We have installed these hand washing stations, which the students love. I'd never seen them before, but they are they're actually motorized. Do y'all have those?
No.
Apparently they are. I haven't been on a Disney cruise. However, apparently they are offered on Disney cruises where the students, they just go in and they just put their hands in this machine, and it, you know, for so many seconds, it washes their hands. And so the first thing in the morning, they get temperature checked before they get out of the car. They come inside, they get to the hand washing station, they go to their classrooms, they have their mask on. The younger ones can take their mask off once they are in their own cohorts, once they're in their classroom, because we do have the plexiglass up around each individual desk, and that's very new this year. And but then our older students all wear their masks throughout the day, but we want them to be outside as much as possible, and I'm sure y'all do too. So that way they can take their mask off. So we take them outside to teach different classes. We take them outside for nature studies. And then we also have lunch outside. So we're still keeping their cohort together. We're not mixing cohorts. And then, but we can take, you know, allow them to take the mask off once they're outside and they are socially distanced far enough apart, so that we're not spreading anything. And then we have protocols in place as far as if someone has a fever or any symptoms of COVID, how long they need to stay home. We're following CDC guidelines on that. And the same thing, if they have just something else that's not a COVID related symptom, you know, how long do they need to stay home? Do siblings need to stay home as well? So I'm sure y'all are doing the exact same thing with, you know, just keeping up with CDC guidelines, and just trying to stay on top of that with how they're changing.
I think I would
Yeah.
start out.
What was
A
that?
lot of those same protocols we are doing as well. So
Bring it
very familiar.
out
Also too for tours. So I know you said no visitors are allowed on campus right now. But I know some schools are doing like Saturday tours or, you know, in-person tours after school. Are you guys doing anything like that, or is it only virtual tours?
No, we are doing in-person tours. However, it is one-on-one, and that would be one-on-one with either myself or with a student ambassador. And we are taking temperature checks at the door, doing the same protocols that we follow for our students, and socially distancing during the tour. We would be able to look inside the classroom, but not enter into a classroom when there are students in the classroom, but still give families that sense of what we have to offer. And you know, we want to get to know families, and that's the part of our community. We really want to get to know all prospective families, and so we feel like the best way to do that is in person, and we will have some virtual offerings as well. So those are in the works, and we'll post those on the website. Because we understand some families may not feel comfortable coming on campus, and so we will have some virtual events, and then we can also give tours once students are, once they leave campus for the day. Happy to give tours then as well. So doing lots of one-on-one tours, just trying to make it convenient for families, realizing that most moms and dads are working, and they're probably most likely working from home, and just trying to make it convenient for them. And so if it's during their lunch hour that works best for them to be able to take a break, then we're happy to schedule that. Or if they feel more comfortable after school, we can take care of that as well. Yeah, I think, and y'all know this as well, I think it's creativity and flexibility is the name of the game this year, definitely.
In terms of tuition, is food included, or do you guys use an outsource type of situation?
So we do outsource, and basically we have Chick-fil-A comes 2 days a week. You can order from Chick-fil-A twice a week. You can order from Jimmy John's twice a week. You can imagine it's very popular. And then Little Ray once a week. So Little Ray is our Friday delivery, and so families can do that. And it's really a mix. About half the students bring lunch from home, the other half order, and it's really a day-to-day thing. So it could be that, hey, it's Chick-fil-A and it's a treat, so I'm ordering Chick-fil-A for my children today. So it's really up to the parents. We just we have a relationship with all of those vendors, and so we just ask that families order by a certain time, and then the vendor delivers it directly to us, and then we're able to then pass it out to the students. And this year, I don't know if you all are having lunch inside or outside, but when the weather is nice, we have lunch outside. So we have a lot of picnic tables and just a lot of space on campus so that we can spread out, just so the students are out when the weather is nice. Y'all are probably doing something very similar there.
Yeah, so lunch is included in tuition. So we'll just have a chef to come and provide lunch. So they make all the meals a day of, and then all of our students are having lunch in the classroom. So it's no commingling. So pretty much kind of the same procedure as well, for sure. And do we have any parents who have any questions at this time? You can unmute your phone if you would like to ask a question.
I think y'all asked some great questions, so that might have been some of their same questions too.
Right. Well, we'll just keep going then. Could you, and you kind of touched on this, but could you kind of walk us through what a day would be like in terms of their curriculum? A lot of our students are coming from the Montessori curriculum.
Right.
Choice, and I know at times it can be a little challenging to transition to any different school, but kind of what would your curriculum and what would a day be like for a kindergartner?
Right. Okay. So an incoming kindergartner come to school, be dropped off as early as 7:30, and then first thing that they would come into the classroom, put away their belongings. Typically, there's some morning activities set up for them. So it could be it's a little different this year. Instead of having stations that they could rotate through and be together in groups, it's more something that might be a manipulative on their desk, that type of thing, just due to the protocols that are in place. And then from there, they would move directly into phonics after devotion. So let me back up. They would do devotions, morning liturgy first, and then move into their phonics instruction. So their Orton Gillingham and their mathematics. They would have science in the morning as well. Well, students get out at noon, so everything's going to be before noon. So all their special classes. So they would have their nature studies class as well. They have music, and they attend music twice a week. They go to art twice a week as well. The classical approach is very much devoted to the arts, and studying whatever the child is learning about as they get a little bit older in history class. The time period for art would be the same. So studying all the old masters and imitating, that beautiful artwork. So whether it's through painting or through drawing or sculpture or sculpting rather, we have a kiln so we can fire everything on the property. So they get a chapel once a week as well. Having chapel once a week, yes, we have chapel, but it is not, all of our classes are taught from a biblical worldview. So it's not that we just have chapel and it's very compartmentalized. It truly, that biblical worldview influences every single subject that is being taught through that worldview lens. And then we have PE twice a week as well. And the students enjoy play breaks. So they have about a 30-minute play break every day. So they go outside. It's very intentional. They're with their cohorts. It's, just their free time to make up games and make up activities that they want to play, things like that. So that is very much a unstructured time for them to be able to just run around, be children, and like I said, use their imagination. So they might be, if they're learning about something in medieval history, I saw the kindergartens the other day, they would make and pretend like they had a jousting match, things like that. So they are really taking what they're learning in class, and sometimes it just spills over into the playground as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I know.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
I was going to say, and this is a question I think Pia's may ask in a second. What is your tenure of your teachers?
So we have a 95% retention rate among our teachers. So very, very high. We find that once our teachers get here, they love this school and they love the families and the families love them. It truly is a partnership here at Heritage. I was going to say probably a question that somebody's going to ask at some point is safety and security. I know that's a big question I always get, particularly with being inside the perimeter, and what are your safety protocols? So we do have cameras set up all over campus that are constantly monitored. We have police officers who are always here at various points throughout the day. And so, they have a presence on campus, and we have a relationship with the police department where they are here at a moment's notice. And then the fire station is right around the corner. So they are all very much aware of our school and take really great care of us. All of our entry points remain locked at all times. There is one way to get in if you're a visitor, and you need to be buzzed in. That would be during normal times when we could have people in and out. But anyways, I just thought I probably should address that. I know that's always a concern for families is, what is your safety? Is there, something right around you that could be a railroad track or something like that? They want to know those types of things, or a chemical plant, So those are important things to know.
Do you guys have preference for siblings?
Yes, we do. So we, when going through the admissions process, if there is a class that is almost full, we are going to give preference to a sibling over someone else, just because our goal is to keep families together, and I'm sure that is the same thing at Suzuki too. You really want those families together because you're in a partnership, and it's not just for 9 months. It's truly the goal would be to be in a partnership for 10, 12, 13, 14 years.
So I know you talked about the classical education and all the different stages that you guys have for teaching your students. But do you have any other assistance like tutoring or a counselor if you have a student who may have concerns throughout the school year?
Right, we do. So we have a speech language pathologist on site, and so she handles speech and language acquisition. So if a child were to need a little extra support in that area or in developing those or acquiring reading skills, that type of thing. We also have a full-time school counselor, so for social emotional needs as well. And then we already have our college counselor. Even though we aren't launching the ninth grade till next year, we already have a college counselor and all of our faculty in place for our upper school already. So that the curriculum is already mapped out, and like I said, we already have a plan in place for college counseling, and so she has already started and be working on developing those relationships with college counseling admissions folks and putting together plans for them. Yeah.
I have two other questions.
Okay.
What do you guys have rolling admissions? Because I know this year is very different and unique, and in history or most times that's a no, but I just know with everything going on this year, people have been a lot more flexible. So that's my first question. And then my second is, are you guys very strict on your children being 5 when they're entering into kindergarten?
Yes, so we do follow I'll start with that last question. We do follow the September 1st cutoff for birthdays. And so we do hold firm to that. So a child would need to be 5 by September 1st to enter our kindergarten program. And then we're a part of AAAIS, the Atlanta Area Association of Independent Schools. And so we do follow common notification date instead of rolling admissions. So the common notification date this year is April 3rd. And so our applications due February 1st. And then the supplemental, like the JTP, teacher recommendations, that type of thing, would be due February 12th. And then we would send out our notification April 3rd and then ask families to let us know by April 15th, which is pretty much what the other AAAIS schools are doing as well. So now there is a little bit of a change in the rule, but that only applies to pre-K this year. And there is an early notification for that. But that would be a little younger than what we're talking about now. Yeah, and probably I would think most of the schools that, seems like when I would come to the school fair, that most of them were AAAIS schools. I think for the large part, I don't recall if there was a school that wasn't a AAAIS school that would come to the fair. I don't know.
No, I think you're right. It's for the most part.
Yeah.
I would have to look back as well. Does anyone else have any other questions? I know we've been like hounding you with the questions.
Yes, but that's good because, I want to make sure that, particularly since Heritage is new to this fair, I've been to it just with a previous school. But since Heritage is new, and that's why I reached out to say I would love to be a part of it, because it was always such a great fair, and just, I would see the quality of the students that come from Suzuki. So that's why I reached out. But it's good. And I think since we are launching the high school too, it would give your families that option to say, oh, wow, this is a school that doesn't stop after 8th grade anymore. The school now continues on. So there's a potential, I do this application one more time till college, and I don't have to apply my child anywhere else until college, and go through that again in the Atlanta market. So that was the other thing. I just thought that would be hopefully helpful to your families.
Yeah. And it's great that this year we're recording the session. So now they'll have an opportunity to listen, to the session, as well as get your contact information if they have any other follow-up questions. So
Right. And I would love to send them, you know, anybody that's interested, I'm happy to put together a packet of material and send out as well. So I'm sure these sessions have been going terrific. Y'all are asking great questions and I appreciate that. So